Archival materials related to the events of the Great Patriotic War mention that, as of the 20th of April 1942, there were 14 armed groups operating in the Chechen-lngush Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, with a total of 63 members. However, with the onset of defensive operations in the Caucasus during the latter half of that year, insurgent activity increased significantly. Throughout 1942, 43 operations involving military forces and state security units were conducted in the North Caucasus, not including combat actions by the Red Army. These operations resulted in the elimination of 2,342 members of armed groups. The insurgent movement gradually took on an organized character, with leaders of major groups in Karachay, Kabardino-Balkaria, Chechnya, Ingushetia, and Dagestan beginning to articulate political goals. By October 1942, the situation had become particularly tense. German forces had already raised their banners on Mount Elbrus, and forward units of the Wehrmacht were fighting from Mozdok and Nalchik. General Tyulenev, commander of the Transcaucasian Front, noted in his reports the scale of the insurgent movement and the need to deploy significant forces to suppress it. He identified Chechen-lngush, southwestern Dagestan, and the Karachay Autonomous Region as the most challenging areas. The situation in Kabardino-Balkaria was especially alarming. According to reports from Soviet commissars, 5 districts were engulfed in rebellion. As elsewhere in the Caucasus, the resistance movement was supported by Muslim communities that had not yet been fully assimilated into Soviet society. One notable episode from this period was the suppression of an uprising in Cherek Gorge. This area had become a refuge for former soldiers of a Kabardino-Balkarian cavalry division that had been defeated near Rostov. Some of these individuals hid in the mountains, while others worked quietly as shepherds or beekeepers. The uprising began with an order issued on the 1st of November 1942 by Major General Zakharov. According to this directive, state security officers in Cherek district were tasked with identifying relatives of deserters and taking them hostage. If deserters failed to surrender within a few days, hostages were to be executed and their families subjected to repressive measures. This draconian order pushed many individuals toward active resistance. Simultaneously, state security forces began mass executions and interrogations under duress targeting civilians. In response to these brutal actions, local residents started ambushing Soviet soldiers, killing them, and seizing their weapons. On the 21st of November, near the village of Shardad, insurgents engaged in a skirmish with Soviet forces and captured an anti-aircraft gun. Using this weapon, they shelled the district council building in Cherek district before setting it ablaze. Recognizing signs of a full-scale rebellion, Soviet authorities moved to suppress it with their characteristic ruthlessness. Nakin carried out this order with particular zeal. In the village of Saudi alone, 310 people were executed, 150 of them children under 16 years old. Later, Nakin reported back to his superiors about completing his mission. Saudi had been cleansed, while part of the insurgents retreated to Upper Balkaria. According to his account, approximately 1,200 people had been killed,